Guess where I am? I'm at the beach again, and it's Monday the 9th of September, and it's still 24 degrees. It's so quiet here now because there's no stuff like tax credits in Finland, so everyone's at work or they're at school or university or college. So I've got the beach to myself. Anyway, not here to talk about that. What I am here to talk about is just a podcast that I watched over the weekend. It was like really just interesting, and it made me think about critical thinking again, because I believe that an important aspect of being a critical thinker is when you're presented with some information, your natural instinct as a critical thinker is to ask questions. You know, for example, like, where did the information come from? What's the source? And then also maybe to just, as I remember somebody once saying to me that statistics, they often raise more questions than they answer, which is spot on. So anyway, in this podcast, they were interviewing this guy. I'm not going to mention any names and stuff because there's no need to, and it's not central to my point. Anyway, these two people, they were interviewing this guy, and he works for one of these alternative mainstream channels, yeah, that they've certainly got a big YouTube channel. They've certainly got like a studio, professional lighting, like basically this person basically said that they have their own show on this channel 5 days a week for 2 hours a week. And they also talked in sort of flattering tones about how talented their producer was. They were very lucky to have been assigned this producer on this particular channel, So straight away, that should be, I think a critical thinker's going to start asking some questions there, aren't they, about like, who's funding this? 5 days a week, 2 hours a day, Monday to Friday, that is quite a commitment. It does take time to plan and research a 2-hour program. I remember as a teacher, even teaching A-level, for a 1 hour lesson, you might be spending 2 hours sort of planning and researching it if you wanted to do a proper job on it. So, for this guy to appear on this channel Monday to Friday for 2 hours every day, that's practically a full-time job. So, like, who's paying for all of this, and who's paying for the studio, and who's paying for the other acts to appear on this particular slick channel, as I say, that's got its studio and everything. So I kind of raised these questions with one of the hosts of the podcast who was interviewing this geezer, and his kind of reply was, oh, well, maybe they're getting a living wage, which is, it's not really addressing any of the issues, is it, about like who's even funding this organisation, because they're going to need a lot of funding, because it's an extensive outgoing. It's not like, somebody like me I haven't got a studio, I haven't got a producer. All I've got is like a 3-year-old Samsung mobile phone and a bit of time, because I chucked in work early rather than I don't live I don't live like a particularly luxurious life either. I live a very, very modest life. So anyway, I just thought, where's the critical thinking here? I suppose one answer to it would be, maybe they've got a lot of viewers who, I don't know, chip in the equivalent of a Sky TV subscription every month. Maybe there's a few thousand of them, and that's enough. For me, I'm not sure about that. Bearing in mind the kind of outgoings and how many people have actually got the money, to support these alternative mainstream channels. You know, obviously you can think about GB News. Where's the money coming from? Now, like, obviously it's up to you who you want to watch and whether you want to support any of these things, but you know, I've never asked for any money, and I wouldn't want any money from anybody, because I'm not doing this for money. And it's not necessary to have these big glitzy channels with studios and high production values and video editors and researchers and producers. I think it's my own personal preference is I would much rather go with people who I can actually see are, they don't ask for money. That's a big one. They don't ask for money, and you know, they're people like me who are just ordinary people, just with a smartphone. It doesn't cost anything to set up a YouTube channel or an Odyssey channel or whatever. And my preference is that I'm more likely to be interested in consuming the content of you know, people that I've mentioned many times. I suppose my kind of favourite one for that is that Veritas Vincent. His last video was actually very good, very thoughtful. Lee, well done on that. So rounding things off with this video, again, I'm not going to mention names, but you know, I was watching this. I think I came across it on Twitter and stuff, you know, or I actually put something on my YouTube channel this morning on the community notes about. It was like a meme of. You know, it's about, and I basically drew an analogy with the Pied Piper of Hamelin, and yeah, many people agreed with my assessment, but there were still people defending this bloke, which I found amazing, really. You know, last week he did a video on Moneybox, you know, that hoax, and he was still citing sources from the what's that? The letter after G, O, and you know, and that's another point, of course, is that I know that if I actually mentioned even just those three letters, I'd have my video pulled, but he doesn't. This guy, like, I had a video pulled about, when was it, like just over 12 months ago, because I actually mentioned the initials of the November Hotel Sierra, and that was enough to have my video pulled down. So I find it amazing, really. Some people, they don't learn, and they're overly naive and trusting. And I was like saying to these people, like, you know, when this guy starts recommending another medical experiment, how many of you are actually going to just blindly do it? It's just some people, they want to be led, I suppose. That's what I'm trying to say. And the point of my video is just ask questions, use some logical deduction. And as I say, one of the big things is think about money, like these big glitzy channels with subscribers in hundreds of thousands and millions. You know, where do they get the money from? Who's pushing them? And yeah, that's all I want to say today. So God bless.